What's going on, everybody? My name is Zach Smith, the former wide receiver coach at The Ohio State University, Marshall University, Temple University. I've worked at Florida, number of places, and I wanted to introduce you to Zone 6. Zone 6 was the brand I created for receiver play, and it's the company that we created. So if you want to check it out, the full, intense, behind-the-scenes kind of teaching tools, drill videos, fundamental teach tapes, all of that, head over to zone6.com and check that out. It's really going to be awesome. I'm excited about it. It really is next level development for receiver play, and we're going to expand. And it's really not just receiver play. It could be tight end play, running back play. It's offensive skill. So check out zone6.com. Go ahead and if you could, hit subscribe on this video, like this video, and I want you to comment down below any questions you have, any future topics you would like us to cover here on our YouTube channel, and then make sure you subscribe so we can continue down this path trying to achieve maximization, because that's the goal. So what I have for you today is just a simple release drill. It's something that I do all the time with kids that I train. I did it my whole career. It's really a way to kind of force fundamentals to become routine and habitual. So simple release drill. We're going to try to drop at least one video a week on here. So make sure you subscribe. And like I said, comment down below. You can drive our content and help us figure out, what you want to see and what you want me to talk about and offer my expertise on. So let's get to the drill. What's up, Zone 6? I want to talk today in this video about releases, right? Releases versus press man. This is one of the hardest things receivers have to do, right? Get open against a guy that is trying to jam you, be physical, keep you from going where you want to go. It's a tough thing to do, right? And the way I teach releases, there's several different layers to this. And the first layer is the foundation layer. And the first release you have to get great at is a speed release. That's always the starting point. If you start with dancing at the line and you don't have a speed release, all those movements off the line are null and void. A well-taught corner, a well-coached corner, he's not falling for any of that bullshit. You got to beat him with speed first. The minute you beat him with speed, whether it's in a game, whether it's over a season, the minute you show that you will, on the snap, just explode off the ball and start running, now he's got to honor every movement you make when the ball's snapped. If you never establish that, you will never, outside of maybe a bad player, or it's just a phenomenal release and he buys it. You got to start with the speed release. So I want to show you kind of how we train releases. So first of all, obviously still going on a visual key to start the drill. I actually, when I watched this film back, in our film review, the biggest thing I told him, and we haven't talked about press stances yet here on Zone 6 online, but he's got to raise up a little bit because he's pressed. And if you're in this stance, you're probably going to get jammed. But we're starting with a speed release. All right. The reason why I have the dummy there is to simulate a defender, right? The chute is there to make sure he's got his pads low and he can get under a jam. And we'll talk about that in a second. And you'll see the cone on the right. The cone on the right is there to ensure that he stacks the defender, meaning once he speed releases to the left of this bag right now, he's going to fight hard. And I always say bend the curve like you're running a 200 meter. Bend the curve to get on top of that corner or that DB, because if you do, it's over. It's done. The minute you stack him and get behind him and put him on your butt, it's over. If you don't, if you speed release inside and just continue vertical, you give him an angle to cut you off, right? So you watch this drill. And that's all I'm doing right there. And then you see how the receiver comes back and gets on the right side of that cone. So the biggest thing I want you to watch here is no wasted movement off the ball, right? And then that dip in that right shoulder. That's the biggest thing, that shoulder angle. You want to have your shoulders at an angle. Get the right video. You want to be here, right? Dipping and ripping so that when you go grab grass, if he jams, it is sliding off your back, right? You'll see here, you can run it back and get a nice freeze point. You see how he's dipping and ripping underneath the jam and then right now leaning to stack. It's a great rep by that kid. Another one. Little wasted movement. Also a little high. Now we're going to go the other way, right? Great job. Watch it again, right? Minimal wasted movement. There's a little bit. And honestly, against press, if you're raised up, you're going to have some. But he does a great job of, it's not a plant, right? You don't step with your left foot, then right foot and plant and get back on top. It's bending the curve right now, lean and stack and get on the left side. It's really good. All right, now we're going to add a jab, right? So the next step of this is, all right, I've done a speed release, right? I did it. I've shown it to him once or twice. He knows I have it. Now I'm going to take one step opposite where I'm trying to go, right? To simulate the speed release, to get him to flip and turn, thinking it's a speed release. And I'm putting my foot in the ground, snapping back. I've now effectively locked his hips. That is the objective of a release, right? To either beat him with speed or lock his hips. So it's got to be a big step. It's got to be a hard step. You want to gain ground, right? Meaning I don't want to take a quick jab and not cross the line of scrimmage. I want a hard step, and we'll watch this drill and talk about it. So here's a jab release. Jab release, right? A hard jab release. I would contend that it actually needs to be more up here because I want it to sell a speed release, right? The other key to all this, if you run it back, I want you to look at what this receiver's foot placement is, right? You see how his weight never left that bag? Your weight has to go with your foot. It has to. So if you look at this, his weight is, his body has never left this bag. You really, when you take that step, you want to shift your weight with that step to get him to open his hips. And then once he opens his hips, now I can dip and rip. And from here, once I make this plant step, nothing has changed from the speed release. I'm bursting, leaning, stacking, dipping my inside shoulder, grabbing grass and trying to get underneath that jam. Just like that. And now lean back and stack. So good finish, not a great jab. Let's see it here. All right, now we're going to go to a triple. So we'll add the next step. So that's a jab release. The next part, and I've called it a triple release forever. This is what Urban Meyer called it, and that's why we called it that. You can call it a double release if you want, whatever you want to call it. But now we're going to do the opposite, right? We're going to take a short step, then a big, hard second step to make him think, oh, this is a jab release, right? Because DBs are taught, don't bite on the first move. That's what every great DB coach tells DBs. Like when a guy gives you one thing, be ready for him to come back. So that's why we use the triple release, right? We use a pop, pop to try to get you to, don't bite on the first move, but bite on the second move. So the coaching points to this are this. You take a short jab step with that left foot, and then a hard right foot step, turning your eyes inside, turning your shoulders, getting him to lock, put your foot in the ground and come back. So you'll see here's a good triple. A good left, right, hard second step, lean and stack. Boom, same thing, left, right. And you see how I would like him to gain a little more ground on that first step, but you see how hard the second step is, right? Before he leans and stacks. See it again here. So this not good shake, but see, I want you to watch his body. His body never left that dummy, right? If his body never leaves that dummy, that DB doesn't have to go anywhere. You got to get your body inside or outside of that DB to get him to turn. That's the key to this, right? You have to get him to turn using your body, and the most important tool and weapon you have to getting open and manipulating DBs is your eyes, turning your eyes and throwing your eyes anywhere. I love the lean and stack though. Let's see this one. It's a left, right. Not a great stance. We got to get that fixed. That's a little better. So you see the difference here, right? The difference now is you see how he threw his eyes inside and his body actually got to the right side of that dummy. That release is going to work. The one we watched earlier probably is not, unless he's just a bad player. Then we just got to lean back and stack. Another good one. Now we're going to flip it. Yeah. So now this is the scenario, right? We have this toolbox, speed release, jab release. Then we have the triple release. Now the question is, all right, let's say this guy's playing outside leverage and I need to release inside. With my inside foot up, I can't triple and release inside. My feet are screwed up, right? My feet are backwards. So I teach what's called a jab triple, where now I'm just going to take a quick jab step with my left foot and run a triple right, left. So you'll watch it here. Quick jab, right, left, great release. Now I got an inside release with a triple. I'd like to see a better finish. Again. Hold on, let's zoom this in for you. That's really good. So just watch where his body is, right? Quick jab. And did his body ever get to the left side of that bag? That's what you have to ask yourself. Watch it. Never, right? He threw his left foot out there. That's not selling anyone. Your weight has to go with you over that left step, and then a lean back and stack. Another jab. That was a little better. You see how he brought his weight with him a little bit. Now, the problem here, if you watch this, his right step is too big, right? A triple release is one of the biggest coaching points is short, big, right? That first step has got to be a short influence step. Second step is the big sales step, right? And if you watch this clip right here, I'll make it big for you again. Look at how big that jab step is. Because of that, there's no way he can get his body weight and sell this second step as hard as he needs to, right? So he kind of leaves his body behind, probably not going to sell and not going to work. You get the idea. So moral of the story is, and we're going to do it. That was just the drill work. I wanted to show you the drill work. We're going to release the fundamental video on a triple release and on these releases that I introduced today next week. So we'll go into fine detail with bullet points and coaching points on that. But I wanted to show you how I drill it, right? The biggest thing is every release ends up being a speed release, no matter what. You have to start with a speed release. And then if you use a jab or you use a triple, the minute you use the release, it turns into a speed release coming off of it. So stack the defender, dip that inside shoulder, and freaking roll, man.